Hello, my name is Sanya. I'm a comics artist, kinda. A wife, definitely. A dog owner, a cat slave, and when I was little, I dreamed to be a TV host. It is bad taste to start from millennial and Jay-Z comparison, but some of very young of you might not understand how big of a deal TV hosts were. Decades after decades, bright faces from TV screens formed a whole generations. When TV was the main source of information, they became an influencers of sorts, but in much, much bigger scale. Only a few TV channels and not many TV programs to choose made them icons of style, fashion, overall behavior. You watched them even if you didn't like them. TV presenters started to be our friends, our relatives, who opened our eyes to the whole world. So, who they really were and where such important people go? Or did they? Wikipedia says, television hosts or television presenters is a person who introduces or hosts TV program, often serving as a mediator for the program and audience. This is simple thesis, but most important part included. TV host is a mediator. So he, she, they dictates how we perceive information, and so the world. In America's first TV talk show presenter was Joe Franklin. He hosted first ever talk show in 1951 that later became The Tonight Show on NBC. As all TV person of that era, Joe was former radio host, so had a voice that caught attention of thousands. As a fun fact, Ellen Hume in History USA talk show from radio to television and internet says very first ever radio show with host was probably a farming program broadcasted in 1921 from Massachusetts. By the way, it was a variety of radio programs in America with themes like housekeeping, religion, public affairs, urban and book experiences, so people learned to differentiate radio host by voice, which will become a vital, important part of TV hosts. When America TV began its journey, there were a bunch of famous faces on USSR television too. The first ever Russian TV broadcast was taking place in 1911, before USSR. Then a revolution in war took all the finances to radio, so real, solid TV started only in 1939. Also, fun fact, famous Russian comedy show КВН that allegedly abbreviated from Клуб веселых и находчивых, so Club of Funny and Witty People, in reality was named after first popular TV set. Back to the point. First famous USSR TV host was Igor Kirillov in 1950s. He molded his voice and style after legendary radio presenter Yuri Levitan. Presentable look and demeanor made Igor Kirillov adored by nation. He hosted many broadcasts, New Year's TV programs, and also was honored as a Man of the Century in 2001. I was amazed to discover that his voice is present in many famous songs, like Sting's Russians and Depeche Mode's I Want You Now and To Have and To Hold. Speaking about first famous TV hosts in America, let's see what was the main there. It was hard for my Google to pinpoint who exactly was the very first famous American TV presenter, because there are so many. I would like to name a few icons, like Ed Sullivan, who started in 1948 and became a legend of TV known till today. He was considered one of the greatest TV stars of all time by TV Guide. Also, there was Phil Donahue, who debuted in 60s and made the talk show what it is today. Important note, he was one of the hosts of US-Soviet space bridge broadcasts. Walter Cronkite was famous newsreader and TV journalist since 1962 and was often cited as the most trusted man in America in 60s and 70s. Overall, TV was so rapidly booming in USA, I can't name everyone who became a big deal there. Let's just add Dorothy Foodham. She was the first woman hosting TV news in America. Barbara Walters, TV presenter from early 60s and more, who became an icon and interviewed many USSR presidents. And first black TV reporter, Mel Good, who took the job in late 40s. Before we move on to Russian television that is more familiar to me, I need to mention totally iconic BBC and Britain TV. This land of handsome men and outstanding comedy produced much more cool screen faces. BBC TV broadcasting first started in 1936, and the fact its first foreign language stream was Arabic. In 1938, they aired Ahmad Kamal Soro Effendi, I may mispronounce it, an answer from Egyptian radio, and it made BBC popular in the Arab world overnight. And then was.
And that's for tomorrow. Don't even bother.
In this tree, there is one of the most extraordinary plant predators. It's one animal that I don't need to sneak up on. Boo!
Now, the thing is, normally, when I have a couch with 5 men who've reformed, it's a boy band. It's a boy band coming back.
Well, actually, we are a toy boy band.
Well, you won't think me lazy. It's the last show of the year. I found some questions I asked Backstreet Boys, and seriously, they're kind of applicable, so I might as well use them.
I can't do it.
Yes, you can.
Yes, I can. Oh my gosh.
Why have you got a dog?
I shall show you. Follow me. If you want a pet, you can have something expensive like an iguana with a silver necklace. Or you can have something cheap like an ant.
What ant?
That ant. Or you can use your common sense and have a Labrador.
There was a young chaplain from King's who talked about God and such things, but his real desire was a boy in the choir with a bottom like jelly on springs.
Back to Russia. After emerging of first great TV presenters Igor Kirillov and Anna Shatilova, his co-host, many other types of TV shows were presented in late 70s and 80s. And if previously TV had more strict and presentable look, now it was more fun and entertaining. Yuri Sienkiewicz was a host of the travel show Клуб путешественников. He was serious science guy, spent a year in Antarctica, but then opened a world to a whole USSR nation. Speaking of travels and adventures, here it comes the legend. Maybe David Attenborough of USSR, Nikolai Berazdov. He got own program about animals and nature в мире животных. Bright personality and kindness to every animal in Earth made him adored by millions. Entering 80s, we need to mention Vlad Listyev, famous creator and host of TV programs like Взгляд and Поле чудес. His serious but charismatic demeanor made him an icon. He also first introduced talk show genre to Soviet public and launched many controversial points. He was killed in 1995. 90s, and plenty of TV stars to remember. I began from TV show Muza Boss and its creator and host Ivan Demidov. Big in TV business, later in politics, he stayed in our consciousness as a bold, blonde guy in sunglasses. He told us about music news and had some mystic personality. Everyone's favorite domestic dads, Timur Kizakov and Andrei Bakhmetov from TV show Пока все дома. It was weird but heartwarming program about celebrity families and DIY. Whole country did get flowers from used plastic bottles and was so proud of it. Yulia Menshova in Я сама, first woman leading talk show in Russia. Елена Ханга, other famous woman TV host. She appeared in first show about sex on Russian TV, Про это. Her bold personality made deep impression on our people, mostly on women and minorities. And here is my last and favorite part, the end of 19th and MTV era. While Britain had the top of the pop's greatness, science 60s, and America launched MTV in 1981, Russia presented its version of MTV much later. I remember it clearly. New TV channel started and it was like nothing else on screen. Funny, witty, with good but kinky taste, MTV Россия defined a generation and brought out many bright young TV stars I loved most. Even in previous decades, many viewers wanted to steal the looks of famous TV hosts or to copy their hairstyles. With MTV Got a Stage, all young started to dream of becoming MTV presenters themselves. And nothing can be cooler than that. Olga Shelest, one of the main faces of MTV Россия. Modern looks and distinctive style of speaking, she's got a place in the hearts of millions. Anton Kamolov, co-host of Olga Shelest in MTV morning show Bodrое утро, and host of many other projects as well. Weird blonde boy next door making funny faces. He had the character. Olga Shelest and Anton Kamolov still often working on different projects together. Yana Churikova, over-energized girl that hosted everything on MTV, most famously 12 злобных зрителей. It was MTV Россия own show, where 12 humble people watched and discussed and roasted new music videos. After MTV, Yana hosted Fabrika Звезд, Russian X Factor, and often appears as commentator on the Eurovision contest. Mentioning other dinosaurs of MTV Россия like Alexander Anatolievich, Tanya Gevorkyan, and Irena Ponaroshko, I would like to speak about my absolute favorite, Tutta Larsen, alternative star, goddess of MTV, an icon. She was everything. Tutta interviewed most famous music personalities, took part in songs, had best style ever. She was like your dream older sister. Vasily Stelnikov, weirdest of the weird, icon of ADHD manic fest and mayhem man. He's got most chaotic of energies and hosted legendary shows like Weekend Caprice and Tihi Chas, where his ability to joke and improvise breaking fourth wall became a standout. MTV Россия was closed in 2013 and again was closed in 2022. But the format and all famous hosts disappeared in 2002. So, did the culture of TV hosting die? I don't really think so. Because all you YouTubers, a lot of TikTokers, and other social media personalities are exactly the same as good old TV hosts were. Yes, they probably can read and use the text properly, but what do people really want from their hosts? A personality, a humor, a bright look and cool style of talking, a compassion, and that mysterious talent to make every piece of information interesting and worth it. Faces on screens are essentially middle-aged fools and clowns, скоморохи, шуты, jesters. They just make our mood better and often don't care much at all. That's how they shape generations, by small steps, and make everyone, include small and lonely kid me, less alone.